I hope you guys are ready for more winter adventure. I am back in a place that I have not been in almost a decade. It's been way too long. Welcome everybody back to the Canadian Rockies. Right now I'm in Banff National Park, and over the next week I'm going to be exploring what the winter adventures are here in the park and along the Icefields Parkway. I'm going to be taking you to frozen waterfalls and a lot of adventure like ice climbing and skiing. I can't wait to show you guys what it's like here in the winter, and I'm so excited to be back here myself. Famous for its alpine lakes, majestic mountains, and access to adventure, Banff is a real winter adventure lover's dreamscape. I arrived into Banff with my best friend in tow late in the evening, so after getting some shut-eye, we started the day off with some coffee, some awesome views from our window, and set off to hit the slopes. Banff is situated right within the Canadian Rockies, and it's such a great place to ski or snowboard. There are 3 ski resorts within 45 minutes of downtown, and one pass will get you access to all of them. If you're into skiing or snowboarding, the best way to get out on the slopes in Banff is to pick up a Ski Big 3 pass. This gives you access to Sunshine Mountain, Mount Norquay, and Lake Louise. And today we're starting at Sunshine for some pretty awesome skiing. Sunshine Mountain is famous for some of Canada's best snow and 3 mountains of diverse terrain. It's really close to town and can be reached easily by car or shuttle from downtown. Now, my best friend was joining me for the first few days of the trip, and we were both super excited to be up on this mountain above the clouds. I grew up skiing, and minus a few years in my 20s, I try to get out on skis at least once every winter. And I really loved that Ski Big 3 offers 3 unique mountain experiences under one ticket. Between the 3 mountains managed by Ski Big 3, there are more than 362 runs over more than 7,700 acres. One thing we love for sure at Sunshine were the big open runs above treeline and the fog banks that sat just below the top of the mountain, allowing you to ski directly into a cloud. Good morning, it is day 2 here in the Canadian Rockies, and today we are heading over to Lake Louise, to the Lake Louise ski area, which is one of North America's largest ski areas. There's 4 gigantic back bowls, I think 11 lifts and a gondola, and I'm really excited to check out this mountain. You've probably heard of Lake Louise, a glacier lake famous for its summertime turquoise waters, which is usually dotted with canoes and surrounded by people hiking up some of the nearby trails. But what you may not know is that just down the street is one of the most beautiful ski areas in the Rockies, and after skiing here, it's certainly one of my new favorites. It takes about 45 minutes to drive to Lake Louise from Banff, and it really is an absolute must when visiting this area. There is nothing more Canadian in the winter than going ice skating, so now that we're done skiing for the day, we've hopped on over to the Chateau Lake Louise and the beautiful ice-covered Lake Louise to do some ice skating. When you haven't ice skated in about 25 years, it's not the quickest relearning, but it is a lot of fun. This lake brings back so many great memories because I was actually right here in the summer about 9 years ago filming one of my very first YouTube videos on these national parks right here, Banff, Jasper, Kootenay. And it's so great being back here, especially just with the beautiful winter weather that we're having, and I'm having so much fun exploring. There's lots more coming up in this video, so don't go anywhere. Banff is located smack dab in the middle of Banff National Park. It's just 90 minutes from Calgary, and the downtown is super walkable. It's also full of great shops, fantastic restaurants, art galleries, and great hotels. The Canadian adventures are continuing today with some ice climbing. We have come out to ice climb today with a guide from Yamnuska Adventures. He's just heading up this waterfall to set some ropes for us, and then we're gonna give it a try. Now, both of us have actually ice climbed before, but it's been a long time, so we're really excited to get out on the ice. If you've tried rock climbing and don't mind the cold, I highly recommend trying out ice climbing. Not only is it super fun, but it's a unique way to experience the winter landscapes, and honestly, what's cooler than climbing up a waterfall? Now, our guide provided helmets, crampons, ice picks, climbing harnesses, and equipment for this adventure, and it's super doable for anyone that's a newbie, as long as you have good upper body strength. Overall thoughts?
Cold but fun.
We had a great time up there. Time for more adventures. Right now we're just in the Banff Gondola. This is going to take us up to the top of Sulphur Mountain. Now, I actually did this many years ago when I was here in the summertime during the day, but right now in January they actually have a thing called Night Rise up here. It's a really cool light show that illuminates the top of the mountain. We're going to be heading up there, checking out Night Rise, and then also eating at the Sky Bistro at the top. Night Rise honors the sacred mountains in a collaboration with the Stoney Nakoda people and Moment Factory. It's spread out across multiple floors at the top of the mountain, each having a different experience with lights and sounds. And it's really fun for people of all ages. I absolutely loved this activity. It was one of my favorite nighttime activities, and I also really enjoyed that it was in partnership with the Indigenous community. At the top of the mountain, there are also 2 restaurants, a shop, and a coffee bar where you can have dinner, hot drinks, or cocktails. I am super excited for today's adventure. I'm going to be heading out on a self-guided photography tour, heading up the Icefields Parkway. So I just actually left the visitor center where I picked up my park pass for the next few days to explore Banff and Jasper and Kootenay. And I am so excited to show you guys some of the frozen waterfalls and some of the beautiful winter landscapes in this area. My first stop was to Johnston Canyon, one of the most popular winter hikes in Banff that takes you along metal boardwalks through a limestone canyon to marvel at the frozen river and waterfalls. After Johnston Canyon, I headed on to the Icefields Parkway. This has been called one of the most beautiful drives on the planet, connecting Lake LOuise with Jasper. It's dotted with more than 100 glaciers, waterfalls, lakes, and forests. But keep in mind, in the winter, driving conditions can be treacherous. Snow tires or chains are required in winter, and if you've never driven on snow-covered roads, I would definitely recommend taking a tour of this and not driving yourself. The views along this roadway are stunning though, and if you're like me, you'll be stopping a lot to take pictures and walk on some of the snowy trails and frozen lakes. Pito Lake Overlook was one of my favorites. This can be accessed via a short trail through the snow. The viewpoint looks over Pito Lake and the surrounding glaciers and mountains. In the summertime, this place is absolutely mobbed with people. But as you can see, in the winter, the people are few and far between, and it's just you and the mesmerizing views. My real favorite part of this stop, though, was down on the lake itself, where the clouds were slowly rolling off the high peaks. It gets dark here around 4:30 during the winter, so one last stop before it's a bit too late for the sunshine at Columbia Icefields, which you guys can see behind me. What an absolutely stunning place. Let's check it out. Athabasca Glacier, seen here, is North America's most visited glacier. It's one of the 6 principal toes of the Columbia Icefield and has been receding about 16 feet per year, losing about half its volume in the last 125 years alone. Continuing north, I ended my day at the Jasper Park Lodge for a relaxing evening in another one of Canada's most amazing national parks. Good morning. I am now in the midst of Jasper National Park, and last night I actually spent the night at the Jasper Park Lodge, which is a Fairmont property. Very nice, and highly recommended if you come up this way, which you should. This morning I am heading out to Maligne Canyon to do an ice walk. This is actually also a really popular tour for people, so if you don't want to do it self-guided, you can actually hire a tour guide and they'll take you out along the river to see some frozen waterfalls and to an ice cave. It seems more and more that in every one of my videos, there's a time in which I have to be somebody's mother. Just past the end of the trail here and ran into 2 groups of early 20-year-olds that were wearing street shoes like Converse and Vans. 2 of the girls didn't even have gloves. If you're coming to do this trail and you're not going to do a guided tour, you have to have micro spikes or crampons. This deep canyon reminded me so much of the Narrows in Utah and was full of frozen waterfalls, icicles, and frost. Now, getting down onto the river is not recommended without proper equipment, which includes micro spikes, helmets, and warm clothes. If you ask the park, they will tell you to not do this unless you're on a guided tour, but it is doable by yourself as long as you have this essential equipment. This has certainly been an adventurous week, from ice climbing and skiing to spelunking in a cavern, but this walking through Maligne Canyon on the frozen river has definitely been one of my favorite highlights. Next stop is this beautiful lake, which is called Pyramid Lake, and there's a fun little island that you can walk over to called Pyramid Island. And in the summertime, there's a little footbridge, but right now I'm just walking on the lake. After leaving Pyramid Lake, I headed back towards Banff on the Icefields Parkway and stopped for a scenic view at Athabasca Falls. This is definitely another crowd favorite in the summertime, and I really loved the turquoise color that came out from the frozen falls. Back in Banff, I had 2 more activities before heading back to the US. This area of the Rockies is full of hot springs and other geothermic activities. And today I'm actually going to be heading to Canmore to check out some of the underground, some of the immense cavern systems that exist here in the Rockies with Canmore Cave Tours. We were heading down into Rat's Nest Cave, which is actually Canada's 4th longest cave. And unlike many of the caves I've taken you into in past videos, this one has no lights and no stairs. We headed off on a short hike and then geared up in coveralls and headlamps to slither and squeeze ourselves into the belly of Grotto Mountain. The cave system, like much of the Rockies, was formed from limestone, and inside it I found plenty of flowstone, stalactites, stalagmites, and even some old animal bones. It was such a fun way to spend the afternoon, and I highly recommend this for people that are looking for a very unique and different kind of adventure. My last stop on my visit to the Canadian Rockies was to the Yamnuska Wolf Dog Sanctuary. This place is a sanctuary for wolf dogs. Some of them are up to 70% wolf, and it was actually started by a woman who was at the time in her early 20s. She had adopted a wolf dog and quickly realized that they were extremely difficult to take care of, and that most people didn't have the time, the resources, or even the space to be able to take care of an animal like this. So she started this sanctuary, and now she has 43 resident wolf dogs, some other adoptable animals as well. And it's really to drive public awareness and education around wolf dogs. And they hope in the future to also help with wolf protection in the wild. I really enjoyed visiting this place. You're not allowed to pet any of the wolf dogs, but you can just sit quietly in their enclosures while you learn about some of the interesting facts about wolf dogs. And if you're a wolf lover like me, or even a dog lover, I definitely recommend adding this to your list. This Canadian adventure was certainly packed with activities. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the beauty and some of the fun you can experience in this awesome place. As always, I'm Alice Ford. Never stop exploring, and I will see you all in the next adventure.